What if I told you that even as a total beginner, you could take a single photo that you find online and instantly turn it into an endless stream of promotional videos that could turn into a faceless side hustle or a full-time business? No clunky tools, no filming, and the best part is you don't even need to own the product or have physical stock to start. You're going to want to stick around until the end because in this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can start making scroll stopping, ready to share promotional videos using just a photo you find online. No editing skills or experience needed. First, I'm going to show you how this gives you unlimited opportunities. Just think about it. You can find any product any day and turn it into content for your next side hustle or online store, all without ever touching an inventory. I'm also going to show you how in minutes you can create multiple high quality videos complete with stunning visuals and pro voiceovers that truly will stand out way more than any basic talking head or expensive UGC video. If you ever felt like I want to start but I don't know how, today I'm going to show you how easy it is step by step. For this whole walkthrough, we're using Hypernatural AI, a powerful video generator packed with top tier, easy to use features and tools. If you want to follow along or try it for yourself, the links to Hypernatural are in the description and at the top of the pinned comments. Make sure to use my promo code that's showing up here on the screen and down below to save 10% on the first month of your subscription. Before we dive in, I've got something special for you. I just built an automation bot that sends unlimited personalized replies to your Instagram comments and DMs to get leads on autopilot because I was sick of paying for ManyChat fees. So I'm looking for people to try it out for free and give me their honest feedback. So to get access to that, just click the link in the description below or in the pinned comments and let me know what you guys think. Now let's get into today's tactic. The first thing we're going to want to do is head over to hypernatural.ai. Remember that the links are down below. It's quick and easy to sign up, and once you're logged in, you'll see this clean, straightforward user interface here. With some options to start creating your content, Hypernatural makes creating high-quality AI content easy. For example, you could use one of the many templates located in this popular idea section if you don't know where to start. There's also ways to get inspired here on the platform by exploring this inspiration section. If you don't know what style you want to generate your content in, there's this great section here that has these pre-built styles that if you select one, it will generate your content in that specific style. You can also create your own style. Now, one of the great things about Hypernatural is that it can generate consistent characters. Here at the very bottom, we'll see this option to select pre-built characters, or you can create your own. So let's come over here to the top of the user interface, and there are two other options to click here at the top. We're currently in the create option, but next to that you can find your past videos by clicking the my videos. And the last option here is this explore option, which will allow you to keep looking for inspiration. You'll be able to look through different pieces of content that were created with Hypernatural by clicking there. Now we're back on the create tab, and here in the center, this is where you would type out your prompt to generate your content. Now, the prompt could be simple, it could be detailed. Hypernatural is going to be able to help you get to that final product. I'll show you in a minute how you can actually edit the outputs. So no matter what, you're going to be able to fine tune this content to exactly what you need. Here, this plus button, if you click on this, it's going to allow you to add a video from the library. You're going to also be able to add photos and videos directly from your computer. You can create your script from narrated audio, narrated video, or a voiceover. Next to that, you have your style options. Currently, it's got a custom style selected. So this minimalist silhouette art and minimalist fantasy art, this pixelated meme art, you can see that they're all kind of similar because these are custom styles that I was working on inside of the tool. But if you scroll down, there's a plethora of pre-built styles that we discussed earlier. So you can just select one of these. You do not need to create a custom style, but if you want to, it's very simple. Just click on custom style and you can upload an image for reference, name the style and give it a description and just generate the style. Next to the style option, you have the length of the content. So you're going to be able to select if you want a short piece of content, a classic 2 to 10-minute video, or a long form piece of content. And then finally, next to that, you have the aspect ratio. So this is important. 9:16 tall portrait is for Instagram Reels, TikToks, Shorts. This 16:9 landscape is more for a YouTube video. And then this 1:1 square would work on most platforms as well. These are the main things you're going to want to select before finishing your prompt. But before we do anything, let's talk about the opportunity that you have here. So we're going to be using a reference image to generate a short product ad or a short piece of content that we can promote products with on Instagram or TikTok. For this video, we're going to focus on a beginner-friendly way to do this without having your own physical products to sell, and that is to become an affiliate. Not just any affiliate, but an Amazon associate affiliate, because Amazon will give us millions of products, niches, and trends to leverage and to work with. And all we have to do is drive traffic to the links we share. For example, with a call to action and automated Instagram DMs. Remember that for a limited time, I'm giving away my free auto DM bot for Instagram, which will allow you to do just that. The links are down in the description. Now, once you sign up and start sharing your product links, you have the possibility of earning a commission for conversions and sales. Also, I tested this in the past and it works. It all depends on how much traffic you bring in. But what most people don't know is that Amazon still pays out for conversions. So if your link drove traffic, but they bought another product, you can still make some passive income. So pair that with the AI tool that can reference the product image and output high quality content fast. It's a solid winning approach for a beginner to start trying to make some passive income. Now, we've talked about this before on the channel, but a pro tip is to visit Amazon Movers and Shakers. You'll be able to see the biggest gainers in sales rank over the past 24 hours on Amazon, so you can start experimenting with different products here. I've already found my product, so let's jump over to that. For today's example, I want to use this vintage Canon AE1 SLR camera. It's a refurbished product from Amazon, but it's actually a bestseller. And I noticed that there had been a bunch of these showing up in movers and shakers over the last couple days. Now, I can see over here to the left that there's only 7 left in stock, so maybe this would not be a good option. But because this is what I picked when I was planning this video, we're going to stick with this because I like the price. I like that it's $249, so the cutback from this would be pretty good. Also, it's got 4-star ratings. It's an Amazon refurbished product, and it's one of the best sellers in SLR film cameras. You can make some content targeted to beginners looking to learn how to use SLR film cameras, and you can give them a guide, and inside of the guide include a link to your vintage Canon AE1 Amazon Associates product, right? But you can use the reference images from this product here to create our content inside of Hypernatural. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's jump back to Hypernatural and start building out our content. So we're back inside of Hypernatural, and what we want to do is grab our reference images. Now I took the reference images directly from the listing on Amazon. So I'm going to come over here to the plus, click on the plus, and we're going to go down to photos. Click on photos and just get the reference images that you have saved on your computer. And I prepared a simple prompt to use for this example. So let's just paste that in here. It says trade in your boring phone shots for the legendary Canon AE1, the 35mm film camera that made photography iconic. Here, the satisfying shutter, feel the film advance and capture photos that actually stand out in a world of endless digital noise. Own the classic because real art deserves more than a phone or than an iPhone click. All right, so I think this is fine for the prompt that we're going to use. So let's just give it a shot, but let's make sure all our settings down here are correct. So the style, I think photographic is going to be good. So let's make sure to select that again. It looks like I clicked it and it went off. So let's click photographic. Length, we're going to do a short video, so 60 seconds max. And then the 9:16 tall portrait aspect ratio is perfect. So let's just come over here to this green arrow and we're going to hit enter. And now Hypernatural is building out our script, and you can see here it's got the visuals at the top. So it says open with a high key studio shot, a close up of the vintage Canon AE1 film camera against a pristine white background, capturing the camera's details and logo prominently. And then it has the narrator line. So trade in your boring phone shots for the legendary Canon AE1, transition to a more cinematic, right? So it's going to break it down with the visuals and the narrator. It's going to do that for the whole piece of content. For now, I think if you wanted to make any changes to the script, you could always come down here and just type out any changes you want to make. So you could say add a CTA to the end of the script. We'll put something like comment SLR for your beginner guide and get your Canon AE1 SLR today. Let's try that. So I'm going to hit enter here, let it make the changes inside of the script, so it'll automatically integrate that into your script, and you can add as much detail to these changes that you want down here, and it's just going to do its thing up here and rewrite that or change whatever you're telling it to down at the bottom. So this almost works as an assistant, right? So it's not only helping you build the content, it's helping you write out the script. So it's all in one here. And these are things you had to do piece by piece before. So these tools, what they do is make this whole process much quicker. Because if you were to do this with something that's not prepared for this, you'd have to go like first generate all the visuals, then generate the scripts, then add in the audio. This is going to do it all together for us. So let's actually come here to make video. And here you'll see it's going to cost us 20 credits to do this. So let's just click on make video and let's see what we get. Once it's fully generated, we're going to be able to actually update and make changes to it if we don't like how it came out. So I actually like to do this with Hypernatural, and it's still super fast, and it makes it actually more personalized. So it gives you time to really look at the content and perfect it. So there you can see some of the visuals that it's generating. At the top it says assembling video. And just like that, in less than a minute, we have a piece of content ready. Now there are some editing features that we can do inside of Hypernatural. So over here to the left, you have a whole bunch of different things you can change. So you've got the caption style, the title and logo, the watermark, the colors, the custom styles, the characters, the stock library, the generated images, the generated videos. You can upload more media, you can add audio to this, and you can add GIFs to this. Let's just see what it's given us so far.
Trade in your boring phone shots for the legendary Canon AE1, the 35mm film camera that made photography iconic. Hear the satisfying shutter, feel the film advance, and capture photos that actually stand out in a world of endless digital noise. Own the classic, because real art deserves more than an iPhone click. Comment SLR for your beginner guide and get your Canon AE1 SLR today.
So just like that, it's created a piece of content. Now, this may not be perfect yet. Let's come down to the timeline here and make some changes to the content. Now, we can edit this scene by scene if we want. So let's do that. Down here, you can see that there are 3 options. You've got this icon here that looks like a film roll. You've got this that looks like 2 arrows going back and forth, and then the 3 dots. So if we click on the film roll, that's going to let us animate the current image. So right now, this Canon camera almost looks perfect, right? This is good enough. I think we could animate this. Now, if we want to animate it, just click on animate, and it's going to add some movement to the visual, making it look more dynamic and more professional.
So let's check out how that looks now. And before I do that, I'm going to mute this, and we're going to look at the voice in a minute because we didn't look at that when we first generated the video. You can actually go through, and Hypernatural has a long list of voices, high quality voices that you can use for your videos. This one specifically, that whispering, is something that I've been using because I think it catches people's attention. And I've seen it work with some of my content before in the past. And I thought that might actually make the content a little bit more effective. But I'm going to mute it now because if not, every time we play through this, we're going to hear it. Let's see how this clip looks now. Let's press play. And there you can see it's added in some movement to the image. Now the next scene, I don't really like this camera here because it doesn't look like the original camera that we want to use, right? The Canon. So I'm going to change the image here. I'm going to click on the icon with the 2 arrows. It's going to automatically give you some suggestions that you can just pick from. But I still don't think these 2 cameras really look like the one we're promoting. So let's go to generate new. And here's a close-up of a vintage 35mm camera on a wooden table. Instead, I want to be really specific here. I'm going to just swap this out for the actual name of the camera, right? And let's see if it gets closer. It says a close-up of a vintage Canon AE1 35mm SLR camera on a wooden table with faint light source, highlighting its features. All right, let's try this. So we click on generate image, and below that you can actually see the style too. So right here you see how it says photographic. If we click on this drop down, we'll be able to select from pre-built styles. Right now everything was generated in photographic, so I want to keep it with the same style. Look, I think this looks much better than what we had before. At least it's a Canon. There you can see like the AE1 logo. So let's replace the current. And the idea with this, guys, is that you're going to make a bunch of content, right? You don't want to waste too much time perfecting every little piece of content. You want to make sure that your copy and the script that you're using is good and effective. So really test how you are pitching the products and think of creative ways to get people onto an email list so you can upsell them stuff, right? You can upsell them maybe for this, different cameras like this one in a newsletter about cameras. So there we've seen that it's now changed the image automatically. We're going to do the same thing for each of the scenes because I just want to show you guys how this is going to save you a bunch of time again, because all this stuff we're doing here, if you don't have a tool like this, you're going to have to do it step by step, piece by piece. This is just preparing everything for you in like a flow that's effective. Everybody wants to know how to make their AI generated content look more human. So adding grain, adding dust to these shots, adding different effects like that is going to be really effective. The beauty of this is that you can control scene by scene how the content is being made.
I went through the video scene by scene and I updated all the images quickly by using this feature here, which allows us, again, like we've been seeing, to generate new images for each scene, but we can also animate the images. Now, let's say you try to animate something by using this film roll. So I've gone through every scene and I've updated the images to make sure that the content looks how I want. And now I think it might be ready to go. The only thing is as I was going through this, I was using this option that we looked at earlier to reanimate or animate some of the clips. And I think this one, for example, I don't like as much as the original image that we had there. So let me come over here to the left. And if you look at generated images, right, it'll show you all the images that you've been generating for this project. So if you want to go back to something that you had before, for example, I want to go back to this image, which was what we originally had for this scene. I'm just going to come here, click on that image, and then replace the current. Perfect. So I think now the project is almost done. The only thing I want to look at with you now is how to change the voice in the project. So let's go back to the menu on the left and let's click here on actions at the very top. And this is going to give you some overall actions that you can take on the content that are super helpful. For example, if you want to change the aspect ratio, regenerate all the images. So instead of going one by one, you can just take another shot at the full finished project. And that could be a total time saver. And then you can edit all the transitions in between each scene if you don't like how it's currently laid out. And you can duplicate the video as well. But what I want to do is regenerate the audio because we didn't actually look at this portion when we first generated the video. So here, if you click on regenerate audio, you can choose a narrator. Hypernatural offers a long list of different voices and narrators that you can pick for your projects. So let's click on one of these other voices and see how they sound. For example, Giovanni here. Let's listen to Giovanni.
Every character deserves the right voice. I could be a hero, a villain, or just someone with a story to share. Give me the role and I'll bring it to life.
All right, that stands out a bit, but you see how you can pick a voice that will maybe catch people's attention? That's what I was trying to do with the whispering. So you could try it with different types of voices, but that's definitely a cool voice. Let's try Calum here.
Every character deserves the right voice. I could be a hero, a villain, or just someone with a story to share. Give me the role, and I'll bring it to life.
Calum sounds pretty good. Let's hear Alice.
Every character deserves the right voice. I could be a hero, a villain, or just someone with a story to share. Give me the role, and I'll bring it to life.
So maybe we want like a female voice. Maybe we use the same exact script on one piece of content, and then the next piece of content, we just change up the voice and the visuals just by regenerating all the scenes again and redoing the audio. And there you go. That's like two pieces of content quickly. So let's regenerate the audio here by clicking this option. Also, you can change the language of the audio that you're going to generate just by clicking here on change language. So now if we play this content, it should be in our new voice. Let's click on play.
Exchange your dull phone pictures for the legendary Canon AE1, the 35mm film camera that turned photography into an icon.
Okay, one thing I didn't like there is that it's not being able to generate this here, like the millimeter. So let's come here to the three dots and we're going to click on edit script. So here you can edit the script scene by scene. So just by clicking on one of these lines here, you can rewrite the line and then regenerate the audio with that new line. So I don't like how the AI is outputting this 35mm word here. So let's just change this to 35 and we'll write it out, millimeter. And let's click on save. It's going to grab our narrator again, and it's going to give us the option to regenerate the voice. So save and regenerate the audio. All right, so now that we've updated the audio, we've updated the script, and we've updated the scenes within the content, I think it's ready to export. So let's come over here to the top right to this export option, You're going to have some options to share or export your content. At the top, you can see it gives you a shareable video URL that you can just copy and share with someone. Below that, you've got the quality of your export. So you can do SD, 720, or 1080p. I'm going to do 1080p, and then I'm going to click on Start Export. Here it says rendering each frame and assembling the video. You'll get an email when the export completes. So once it's done, you'll get an email to the email that you used to create your account here on Hypernatural. Perfect. It looks like our video is ready. We're going to click on download. That should save the video to our computer and we should be ready to go. So now let's see how our finished video looks.
Exchange your dull phone pictures for the legendary Canon AE-1, the 35mm film camera that turned photography into an icon. Listen to the satisfying click of the shutter, feel the film advance, and take photos that truly stand out in a world overwhelmed by endless digital noise. Own the classic, because genuine art deserves more than just an iPhone tap. Comment SLR to get your beginner guide and claim your Canon AE-1 SLR today.
It looks like the video came out great. Once we have one piece of content finished, we can repeat the process to create bulk sets of content, which means more chances of converting and finding out what works. And thanks to the beginner-friendly affiliate strategy we used, you can repeat this process with any product in any niche as often as you want. It's the fastest way for total beginners to start creating and promoting today. If you want to try Hypernatural yourself, click the link in the description or pinned comments to start creating your first videos completely for free. A big thank you to Hypernatural for sponsoring this video, and be sure to use my promo code that you can see here on the screen and also down below to save 10% on your first month subscription. A quick reminder, to gain free access to my IG Auto DM bot, simply click the link in the description to get started. And now that you know how to create professional product videos in minutes, you may also be interested in making sure all your AI generated content bypasses the AI detectors and feels completely 100% human. If that sounds like something you want to find out how to do, just watch the video that shows up here on the screen next. Make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you all in the next one.